Hello, good evening. How are you guys? Today we've got a very cool topic to discuss, and I think it's going to be useful to all of you here tonight. So say hi so that I know you're here. Let me see who the first person is. Natasha, Adriana, hi girls. So since you guys are the first ones here, do you have any questions I could answer? Maybe there is, and this question is for Natasha and Adriana, for you girls specifically, okay? I want to know if you guys have a specific question to ask me tonight, if there is anything that I could possibly help you with. Just type it up if you do, okay? Right, hello guys, good to see you. Tonight we're talking about something that is often overlooked. People don't talk about it. People don't even realize this exists. And it's so important to think about this, to acknowledge this. Let me explain what acknowledge means, because I think it is one of those verbs that you might not know. When you acknowledge something, you realize that this is there, you know it is there, and you see it. So for example, supposedly you see me at a restaurant, okay? I'm there with my family and you're there with your family and you see me and you're smiling at me, but I'm not smiling at you, which is crazy, right? You're like, and I'm like, and you're thinking, Patricia is so rude, but really I'm not. I just did not acknowledge you. I didn't see you. I didn't realize you were there, okay? See, this is acknowledge. So this topic is just something that people don't normally acknowledge. People don't think about it because it happens so naturally to most people, 99% of people trying to learn English, that nobody thinks about it, okay? Adriana, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you so much. So the first thing I want to do is ask you all a question. I'm going to ask you all a question, and I want you to please type up, no, Marcos is not, that's not the right translation. It's not. I want you to Google it later, okay? Go to Cambridge Dictionary. It's a very good one to use. And just type up acknowledge, to acknowledge, because we're talking about the verb, and see what it shows you there, okay? Because that's not what I mean. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you all to please reply. I want you to type up your answer, okay? In a very short way, very quick way. How long have you been trying to learn English? How long? I'm talking about time, okay? How long have you been trying to learn English? Okay, I want you to type it up here for me, please. How long you have been trying to learn English? I'm going to wait for some answers to come. 6 months, 4 years. I'm going to talk about this in a minute. I think it's going to be good. How long have you been trying to learn English? Thank you. It is quite cool, isn't it? Thanks. It's just a big pen, but it looks cool. 6 years, 4 years, 5 years, 1 year, 1 year. So we've got anything from 6 months to 13 years, ups and downs. Yeah. Do you know why? Because everybody, not everybody, I'm going to change that. Most people, 4 years, 2 years, 5 months, we've got everything. Why? Most people who begin trying to learn English, they feel that they continue to be trying to learn English for a very long time. So this time varies between 6 months to 13 years from Rachel. Yeah, it does. And you will hear people talking about this, telling you that they've been trying to learn English for 20 years. Well, yeah, it could happen. Because there are some problems that I want to talk about today, okay, that I think it's important for us to talk about, for you to think about when it comes to your personal journey with English, okay? What happens is there is this illusion, this thing that has been created that there should be a time for you to learn a language. Yeah, so you will see lots of, and how was this created? How was this illusion created? You will see courses telling you learn English in 6 months, learn English in 1 year, learn English in 18 months. You will see this. So that's one point. Second thing, there is always this idea that we hear, and I'm sure you've heard, maybe you did this, or you've heard friends or family talking about this. I am going to move to London for 3 months because I need to learn English. Have you heard somebody say that? Please say yes or no. Have you heard somebody saying, I'm going to move to Canada for 6 months because I need to learn English. I'm going to move to Dublin for 2 months because I need to learn English. Have you heard this before? Say yes or no if you've heard from yourself or from a friend, from family, from someone you work with. Of course you have. I have too. What does that tell you? It tells you that people believe there is a time. And because we believe, I'm not included on this one. Because people believe there is a time, everybody's saying yes all the time. Yes, of course. Yes, myself. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I know. Because people believe there is a time that you're going to spend learning a language, learning English. You think that you need to do it as fast as possible. So I have to do it now. I have to learn English now because I got a job that will make me use English. So I have to learn it now. This is crazy. And it needs to stop. You need to stop feeling this. Really. Because the urgency, this feeling that I have to do it now, is essentially stopping you from doing it. And I'm going to give you something that I thought about so much to bring to you tonight. I'm going to give you a very important insight about this, okay? There are two biggest problems, in my opinion, when it comes to urgency. Urgency, I have to do it. It's urgent. When something is urgent, it has to be done now. Yeah, there are two biggest problems. Listen to this structure, because you guys are always asking, right? What's the difference between bigger and biggest? So now is the time for you to listen, because when you listen, you understand the difference, okay? There are two biggest problems. So the most big, because there are so many problems with this, believe me, but there are two biggest problems, the ones that are the most important, the biggest, like, wow, all of them are big, but two of them are the biggest problems, in my humble opinion, okay? Because everyone's going to have a different opinion about this, but I can only tell you what I feel from myself and from my experience as a teacher, okay? Now listen to me. The biggest problem, the number one biggest problem with urgency is that we feel that we only learn the language when we speak it. So there is this huge, massive burden, something here. When you feel something on your shoulders, these are your shoulders, okay? When you feel something on your shoulders, that is like weighing you down. It's horrible. It's heavy. So it's a burden. It's a very good word. Let me type it up here. Burden. You feel this burden that is, I have to speak it. I don't speak. I have to speak and I don't speak. Urgency. Listen to this. Urgency tells you you need to speak quickly, because when you speak the language, it means that you learn the language. However, I'm going to give you another side of the story now. However, when urgency is telling you that you have to speak quickly because you have to do it, because you got a new job, because you moved to London for 3 months, so you have 3 months to learn English, so you have to speak really quickly, you stop listening. Everybody, and this is literally everybody, that has this feeling that I need to speak, I need to speak, I need to speak. This is urgent to them. They don't listen. Because the only thing they think about is speaking. But guess what? There is no way you can speak a language well if you're not listening very well. What does that mean? I see this a lot. I see this a lot, really. Hi, Rosangela, welcome. I see this so much, which is people having this feeling that they have to speak, and they start speaking. I see it a lot. They start speaking, and then I make a correction. I say something that, look, you have to say it this way because the way you're saying it is wrong. And they repeat what I said wrong. Do you understand this? I'm going to give you an example. Supposedly, the person I'm talking to said, Patricia, what's mean this word? And so I correct them and I say, look, you should say it like this. Patricia, what does this word mean? And instead, I just said it, what does this word mean? And instead of them repeating my sentence correctly, they just say something else. They just say, yeah, what's mean the word? And I'm like, no. Listen, what does this word mean? And they go, oh, okay, what means? Like, no. Why does it happen? Because they're not listening. And every time, and I want you to notice this about yourself. Watch yourself. You will see what I mean. Every time you feel this urgency, I have to do it now, I have to speak now, and I have to learn, you stop yourself from listening, because you cannot have both as urgent. And that's the biggest mistake, and that's the biggest problem, because you will only speak well when you become an amazing listener, a fantastic listener. Trust me on this one, that I know. Now listen, let me see what you guys are saying before I move on to my second point. Yeah, lived in Sydney for 10 months because you're like, I have to learn it and I've got 10 months to do it. That's crazy, that's scary, because you will not be able to do it in a specific amount of time. And this time could be 10 months, it could be 10 years. You will not be able to do it within a time frame, because this will change from person to person. No urgency is absolutely the best approach. Yes. I think if this is about age or not, most people, and you will be shocked when I say this, but it's true. Most people I know, most people I've met teaching English and just watching, maybe they were not my students, but I was watching them talking. Most people don't realize how important listening is. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because to them, listening is about understanding what the person said. And they never click that listening is more than understanding what the person said. It is about you repeating exactly what they said. And you can only repeat exactly what they said when you're listening really close. Otherwise, they will say, "What does this mean?" And you will say, "What's the mean?" So now I'm going to move on to my second point of this discussion that is so important. Second biggest problem is going back to this thing that I am going to go abroad for I've heard the 2 months thing. I'm not joking when I say I'm going to go to Dublin for 2 months to learn English. I actually heard that. I'm going to go to Dublin for 2 months to learn English. I'm thinking, right, shit, that's a problem, isn't it? Because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I've never met an adult who learned English in 2 months. Never. I've met a lot of people. I've been speaking English for 17 years. No, it doesn't exist. And people will tell you it does, okay? People will tell you they learn English in 2 months. Then there are two things you have to think about here. Thing number one, were you there? Did you see it? Because seeing is believing in this case. Number two, did you hear this person speaking? Because their English is probably really horrible. Not because it's been 2 months, but because they believe they learned it in 2 months. So if you're happy with your English after 2 months, it's not a good one. Let's face the facts, yeah? Okay. Now, yeah. Guys, it's the same thing. We learned Portuguese, most of us here are Brazilians. We learned Portuguese because we were listening. Yeah? Not in 2 months either. Now listen, people move abroad for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. I'm going to live abroad for 1 year to learn English. The problem with that is that when you have this frame of mind, okay, when you have this frame of mind, when this is how you see the situation, you believe it's going to be automatic, isn't it? You're going to go there and you're just going to learn it because you're there. So it's almost like a miracle, isn't it? Like there's going to be this miracle happening in your brain, and you're going to go to sleep and wake up the next day and you're going to be 50% there, one more night, fluent. That's it, isn't it? That's the frame of mind. You believe that just by being there, you're going to learn. Now, the moment you go, you realize how hard it is. Man. And when you realize how hard it is, there's only one thing that happens with most people I've met. You give up. You realize you're not gonna be able to do in 2 months. You realize you're not gonna be able to do in 6 months, and you're not gonna be able to do in 1 year. You realize that when you're there, you're like, whoa. And then you just give up. English is too hard. things that I heard before, okay? English is too hard. English is not for me. I will never learn this language. I hate this language. Yeah, because your urgency put you in a position of not analyzing the facts and not being critical about things, not thinking critically. You're not analyzing anything. You just go because you've heard one day before in your life, you heard somebody say that you want to learn English, you go abroad and you do a course for 2 months. You do a course, a grammar course for 2 months somewhere abroad, and that's it, you're done. You never stopped to analyze that and to think, hold on a minute, how many words? Hold on a minute. How many words do I need to know to speak a language fluently? How many structures do I need to be able to use to be fluent? If you ever stopped to analyze that, you would know that it is impossible to learn a language in a short period of time. Okay? So, urgency brings frustration, which makes you give up. It makes you go, I'm going to go back home. I'm going back to Brazil and I'm done. And I'll never learn. English is not for me. You give up, you stop completely. Whereas what you should do is analyze the facts, realize that it is hard because it is naturally a difficult and long process. Naturally. And go with it. You know, start and move forward a little bit at a time, as opposed to, let me remember all these 2,000 words in 2 months. Remember the meaning, remember how to use them, remember the different meanings. What? Do you see? Is it clear? Let me see what you guys are saying. Yes, totally, Victoria. Absolutely. You can improve English in 2 months. Of course you can. Yes, but you cannot learn a language in 2 months. Learn a language means learn how to speak it and understand it in most situations, right? But you can improve it in 1 month. You can really improve your English in 1 month if you've got the right strategy. Yes, you can, but that is not urgency. That is strategy, different things. Yeah, no, totally. There is no magic. Yeah, guys, that's it. Now, this is what I wanted to say today. I think it's important for you to think about it and for you to just accept the process, accept this for what it is, because it's the best way for you to learn. You relax, you understand that it takes long and it takes effort, and it's not going to be something that's just going to happen naturally. It doesn't happen naturally unless you are 5 years old. Then maybe it happens naturally. But that's it. No, I do not know this poem, The Chaos. Who is it by? Have a look. Send me a message and I'll check it out. Guys, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure to be with you, and I hope that this conversation has given you some important things to think about. Urgency is overall the worst feeling that you can have towards learning English, okay? Urgency is the wrong approach. I hope you understand why. I hope I've given you enough reasons to understand my point of view on this one. Okay, yes, it is a journey. Thank you all so much. And that's it. See you later. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.